Let's bring in Nicole Reaney, PR expert and media commentator. Nicole, thanks so much for joining us. And we have been watching the King and Queen, of course, on their quite short trip, we know, due to the King's health. And he had his rest day yesterday, but it's a great turnout, would you say, today?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I think it was 2018 when he last came to Australia, and 2 years since he took the throne. So I think it's a really vital visit to Australia, but really mindful and gracious of the fact that he is undergoing health treatment.
It's a very interesting itinerary, no evening engagements because of his health. We were given some details ahead of time, but for security reasons, you don't necessarily get the full picture till the day when you get told where to send your reporter and where to send your camera crews. So these kind of impromptu meetings with members of the public presumably does the image of the royal family the power of good.
Absolutely. I think we saw some humour earlier in his speech at Parliament New South Wales, which I think is fantastic. And I think that charisma and that personality is what the public adore about the royal family.
And we saw, we saw the little royal wave as he got into the car there. And, you know, not, as you mentioned, not a huge schedule for today, but he is off to Admiralty House. And again, the crowds, they've been quite calm. There's been a huge security presence, and we've just got the live pictures there now. So you can see quite a lot of police there. The crowd starting to disperse as, of course, the King and Queen have left State Parliament in New South Wales, where we've been talking to our political and royal reporter, Julia Bradley, who we'll chat to very soon. What is your experience, Nicole? You've been a media commentator on the royals for many years. How is the King and Queen perceived in what you're hearing?
Well, we've seen different journeys for the royal family. We've seen ups, we've seen downs, and I think this year particularly, with all the health that we've seen within the royal family, and I think, you know, also seeing him as a grandfather has really brought that personality and that I think it's humanised the royal family, and it's been fantastic to see.
Yeah, because of course King Charles is not the only one with health problems. Of course, Kate as well, Prince William's wife. And do you think the public are getting used to seeing King Charles and Queen Camilla together now?
I think so. I think, you know, years back it was very controversial. You know, people were quite upset by what was happening within the royal family. We've seen the awesome foursome and that journey with Meghan and Kate and the two brothers so close, and then we've seen them fall apart. So there's been, you know, lots of emotions behind the royal family, and I think now we're seeing them connect again, which is great.
And he only had his cancer diagnosis in February, and we were talking before about the journey, whether you are unwell or not. You know, that jet lag is quite hard, isn't it? From, you know, it doesn't matter, even if, I guess, you know, what plane and first class or however you travel, it's really, really tough. So we did have that rest day, both of them, of course, but no doubt it would be a bit of a struggle, would you say?
Yeah, I would need a rest day after travelling that far. It is a significant trip, yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that this trip is going to, what's it going to do for the sort of Republican cause? We know the current Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, is the first sort of self-avowed Republican to be in charge of the federal government for some time. But he seemed as delighted as any other kind of official leader of a country to meet His Highness when they met, despite a rainy greeting on Friday night at Sydney Airport. Do you think that matters at the moment? Has it dropped down the list? Are things going to continue as they are for some time?
I think it will continue for a moment. I mean, with the King's coronation, there was something like 400 million viewers around the world watching that. So there is that likability and that relationship and that connection to the royal family. You can't take that away, I don't think.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because it is quite divided, isn't it? Whether people want this as a monarchy or a republic, but plebiscites, as we know, in Australia, referendums, you know, they haven't been, would you say, popular. We've only had about, I think, 8 that have passed out of about 44 or so. And of course, it's not really on the cards at the moment. I think many people are certainly saying we've got enough to deal with, put that in the too hard basket. And of course, our main focus today is, of course, the royal visit. Again, quite short though, but he's off to Samoa after here in Australia.
Yeah, that's right. A short 5-day visit, but I think he's doing his best to meet with the public and meet with different dignitaries and communities. So I think it's going to be very well received.
Yeah, they're going to meet representatives of the New South Wales Rural Fire Service, speak to a sustainable housing project in Glebe in Sydney as well, meeting some Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander elders, take part in a smoking ceremony. I guess a carefully orchestrated itinerary just to pluck the strings of the things that are going to appeal to the public, not just here in Australia, but I guess across the world, because these things are always covered globally.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be global media watching this visit, and all eyes on what's happening here in Australia.
Do you know why King Charles chose Australia first for his tour?
I don't know the insight, but I can imagine he has quite close ties. He went to school here. It's been, I think he was 17 when he had his first visit in Australia. So I think he has personal ties to the country, and I think Queen Elizabeth also loved coming here. So I think there's a bit of a relationship that he would love to continue.
We all remember that moment when Jane Priest ran up to him in her bikini on Bondi Beach, I think it was, and then gave him a big hug, which anyone would appreciate. Nicole Reaney, thank you so much for coming and giving us that insight. We really appreciate it.